Hi everybody, welcome to my Makita Cordless 18 volt 4.5 to 5 inch angle grinder comparison and review on the XAG06Z that I have. First of all, I want to talk about some safety and general info about the angle grinders in general. If you are by any chance an experienced professional and already know all there is to know about angle grinders, you can jump directly to the comparison here on the left, or the review on the time marks that I have here appearing on the left. But I don't recommend it for safety reasons. First of all, the main use of angle grinders is to grind, of course, and also to cut. It cuts mainly masonite, which means rocks and ceramics even, and of course concrete, and also it cuts very well iron and all kinds of metals as well. This is the main use of an angle grinder, but it's a very versatile tool. It has secondary uses which are peeling paint with a brush, a metal brush, more or less like this, which is a special attachment that you put on. It has all kinds of brushes. This one is with twisted wires. Also cleaning rust and even shining cars and lots of things, lots of different attachments that these tools have. This is a very versatile tool. One of the tools I think most metal workers use the most. This is probably the most dangerous tool I have in my among my tools, because it's very versatile, it's very light and maneuverable, and it also usually involves spinning blade with sharp edges, so it's very, very dangerous. It has also different shields, different guards, so you can protect your hands while you're working, but still it's a very, very dangerous tool. When I use an angle grinder, I always use glasses, gloves and ear protection. It's very, very important, because this tool is sometimes unpredictable. Always disconnect the battery like this. Disconnect the battery when you're changing the wheel or the attachment. Most people think it's because of accidental push of this lever, this pedal. When you catch it like that, you can move the switch, the safety switch, and accidentally press it while you're changing it. But this is not the main reason, and I know that from experience. The main reason to disconnect the battery is because of the shaft lock button. This action of removing this wheel involves pushing a button, and the action of making this thing work is also pushing some sort of a button. So many people think, so what's the big deal? So how dumb should you be to push instead of this one, this one? Well, everybody could do that mistake, because everybody can think about a case that happens every few years, that you finish your lunch and you take the salt shaker and want to put it in the fridge instead of the ketchup or the mustard or whatever you used, and then you think to yourself, okay, what did I do? What did I just do now? This is something that happens once every few hundreds or few thousand times of use, but if you use it enough times, you can be this dumb one that does this. So never change the attachment when the battery is on. Make a habit out of disassembling the battery and then changing the wheel or the attachment. I always think of an angle grinder as a Doberman pinscher with dinosaur teeth. It means that it waits for you not to pay enough attention just so it can butt you in the ass. So always be afraid of this tool. It's a very, very dangerous tool. Okay, so a little bit about the comparison. In the Makita website there are many angle grinders. Some of them are the 9-inch ones, the 9-inch wheel ones, which are not the ones I'm talking about right now. And some of them has 2 batteries, which means they are the X2 series. It's the 36 volts. So I'm going to make a comparison only on the 18 volts tools. Also not they have corded ones too. So this is only about the cordless 18 volt angle grinders. Just to be fair, I didn't use all the angle grinders I'm going to talk about, but I did do some research, and if you want to buy a Makita angle grinder, I just did the research for you. I do have experience with this one, and I will talk about it later. I'm going to upload some tables right now that you can see the comparison among all of the tools, and I will talk about them also. Okay, so in this table we can see all the models laid out with the features that they all have. I'm going to talk about the features a bit, and then we'll move to the features that they differ. First of all, you can see the 06 here. The 06 is the model that I have. It's discontinued, but it still sells for about $200. It's only here because you can relate to it, and it's like you can think about the others as the 06 with different features, because they're mainly the same tool with I think they're mainly the same tool with minor changes. The price ranges for these models are from $130 US dollars to $270. So there is more than double the difference from the cheapest one to the most expensive one. Okay, start with the first feature, automatic speed change. These tools know how to change speed and torque depending on how much the tool needs. When it doesn't use as much torque, it spins faster, and when it needs more torque, it spins less fast, but it uses more power to the motor and draining more the batteries, and it does that automatically. Battery indicator. Battery indicator is just a gauge that you can see how much battery you have left. It's usually 3 LEDs on the bottom of the tool, and you can see how much battery you have left. Anti-restart is if you accidentally, it's mainly for the tools with the slide and push button. I'll talk about that in a minute. That can stay closed even when you don't hold it. Stay closed is meaning stays on. And if you take out the battery and replace it with another one, it's meant for it not to ignite instantly, not to start automatically. And it just waits for you to turn it off and on again. So you won't accidentally, while changing the tool's wheel or attachment, you won't accidentally turn it on by reattaching the battery. So this is anti-restart. They all have it, and they're all brushless motor, which means they're consuming less energy, about 30% less energy than the regular motors. And they involve more electronics. The AFT, as Makita calls it, it's the bind-up control. It means when it binds to the steel, or maybe twist in your shirt or whatever makes it stop, it will kill the electricity to the motor and stop it from burning itself up. The 06 doesn't mention if it has it or not, but as I recall, it does have it, but it doesn't matter all that much, because I'm going to recommend you to buy another not discontinued model in the end of this comparison. Also, the only one that has a 4.5 inch wheel size is the 06, and I think that's a mistake, as I said before, only because they didn't update the brochure. These are the features they all have. Moving on to the next table. As you can see in the next table, I made it slightly more colorful so you can see the differences. We'll start with the 17 and 21. 17 and 21 has that U in their model number, and I think it stands for the only feature they have that the others don't have. And the feature is the Bluetooth connectivity. The AWS, as Makita calls it, it's a feature that it gets the vacuum cleaner, shop vac that you have, or the dust extraction. That's the word. The dust extraction. It helps it understand that the tool is on right now, and it turns itself on wirelessly via Bluetooth. So of course the other the dust extraction also has to know that also has to have this feature, this AWS feature, but if it does that automatically, so you don't have to turn it on and off all the time. That's the AWS. They both have a speed control dial, which is something else than the automatic speed change. The speed control dial is a way for you to limit the speed of the tool. This is something I don't have in my 06, and maybe I would use it if I had to when I work with wood, so it won't burn up. I don't know, nice feature, but not necessary for me. They both have brakes. It's an electronic brake that brakes the spinning wheel within 2 seconds, which is also something nice to have, but mine doesn't have it also, and I found out that it's not a problem. It stops after 3 or 4 seconds by itself, just when you kill the engine, so the motor, so no problem here. The only difference between them both is one has a switch, which is a slide push switch, and the other has a paddle switch. The 21 has a paddle switch, which is my favorite, the paddle switch. I'm going to show you in demonstration right now about the differences for those who don't know what they are. Okay, as you can see here, this is a different tool that I have. It's the corded Bosch one that I have, and it has a slide push button. As you can see, this is a button that stays closed when you push it. Closed, which means a closed circuit, which means it stays on. You don't have to hold it for it to stay on. It's quite dangerous, but it is what it is. Some people like it and find it convenient. Now, to the other one. As you can see here, this pedal is a deadman switch, which means it stays off by default, and only if you push this lever and push the pedal, it starts. But as soon as you leave it, it turns off, which means this is a normally open circuit. So this is more my preference, and I think it's the safest way to go. Now, next tool is the 04, 09, and the 11. The differences between the 04 and 09, they both don't have a speed dial control and no Bluetooth. The 04 doesn't have a brake, the 09 does have a brake. Both of them are slide push by a button switch. The XAG11, it also doesn't have a speed control, no Bluetooth, but it does have a brake like the 09, but it differs the 09 with a pedal. It has a pedal. So, and this is the one that is the replacement for the 06, because it's the same tool only with a brake, which is something I don't think I would notice if I had it in my hand, but it's basically the same tool. The 09 and the 11 and the 06. And today, the 11 costs $170 and the 06 $200. Because it's discontinued, the price wasn't updated, so the 11 is even cheaper. So this is the one I would go for today, but this is only my preference, because this is suitable for the things I use it for. Some people will need it for different things, so they can choose other models. The XAG16 and 20. Okay, the 16 and the 20, both of them has speed control dial. They don't have the Bluetooth connectivity, and they both have brakes. One is with a slide, the other with a pedal. It's basically like the 21 and the 27, just without the Bluetooth connectivity. Okay, the colors is just for understanding, and in the end of this comparison and review, I will put on the whole table with the features that they all have and the features that they differ, so you can have it on the screen. You can pause it and then look for the specific model that you had your eye on and you want to buy it, so we can see all the different features it has. Okay, this is the comparison. We're going to move on to the review. Okay, now after we finished with the comparison, I want to talk about a little bit about the one that I have. As I said, this one is a discontinued one. It's the XAG06Z. As I said, Z stands for it being a standalone tool only, with no battery and charger. It's sold as a tool only, so it's a Z, but it doesn't matter, it's the same tool. My general impression of it, first of all, I like it very much. It's very handy, very convenient. It's not as strong as a corded one, which I have a corded one. I have a Bosch corded one. It's not as strong, but I can't anticipate it to be as strong. This is an 18-volt tool. It does most of its main uses, which means it cuts very well, it grinds very, very well. But the secondary uses that I just talked about in the beginning, like the spinning brush wheel, and to peel off paint or rust, it doesn't have enough power, and also it involves draining the battery very, very quickly, because of the torque it needs to implement. It has a smart system that implements more torque as it needs, and these are torque consuming tasks, and the battery just it eats up batteries. So for cutting or grinding, I use it all the time. It's very convenient that I can take it in my car somewhere that I saw that I want to cut something off and I don't have a grid around. Very, very convenient. But it's not as powerful. I want to talk about comparison of this one to the others. This is the only one that is Makita stated that is for 4.5-inch wheel size and not 5-inch. I think it's only because the brochure is old and it's discontinued and they didn't update it. The XAG04, which is the same generation as this one, does state that it's for a 5-wheel. So I believe this one is also for 5-inch wheel, but I'm not sure about that. When I need something, I just put it on. I don't think that another centimeter, another half an inch will make the difference. Maybe if I look at the guard, maybe it doesn't have enough room, but most of the time I don't use the guard. This is my decision. Don't copy me. Always use the guard, but I don't. Just inconvenient for me, and I find it sometimes more dangerous than using the guard. When the guard only opens a part of the usable space, sometimes I need to maneuver all sorts of angles, and I'm increasing the risk for me, so usually I'm without the guard. What I like about it, it's very versatile. I like very much that the handle is quite narrow, so it fits in the hand. I like very much this mechanism that I talked about that keeps me safe. It's like a dead man switch. When I let go, it just stops. The push switch I don't like as much, and this paddle switch is my favorite. I like about it that it's a complete product. It does everything. It senses the torque that it needs. It watch out for the battery for overheating and over discharging and overloading. It feels like I can use it whenever I want, wherever I want, and it does what it can, and when it can't, it just stops. It feels like a very whole product, and I like it for it also. What I don't like about it is that it's not as strong, as I said, it's not as strong as the corded ones, but it does what it does very well. I have a link in the description down below if you want to order some of my affiliates and support this channel. I will appreciate it very much. Also, please like and subscribe. And as I said, now I'm going to leave in the background the full table of the comparison with all the details that I could gather. And good luck with your buy. Thank you very much.